At this time, Coach Mickens, who as usual has about 37 things to do and only about 3 hours to do it in, so we had to change the program a little bit. I'm going to let him talk about Scott Brown, and that we'll talk about that team a little bit later. Mark Mickens.
Thank you. It's a pleasure and honor for me to be here today. And I still coach here at the school, so that's a pleasure and an honor too. I really love this place and being out here on Friday night, so it always means a lot. Our 95 team is Coach Jones and I gassed all the time. What's your best team? Who's your favorite team? Name your best players. And arguably, the 95 season really wasn't supposed to happen the way it happened, and almost didn't happen. We were coming off our 1994 season, was arguably, definitely you can name probably the best season in the history of Butler High School in a lot of ways. We were 11-0. We had 4 full scholarship athletes. We finished number 12 in the state of New Jersey, and just had an incredible run. But the bad part was that we sat in the field house after we won. Coach Jones always remember this. He said, "Now we have to coach," because we lost all those kids, and we came back the next summer, in '95, and had one young man, Ray Benedetto, who had any game experience in varsity football. So expectations-wise, if you put it down on paper, it probably didn't look too good. And what we did have was a bunch of seniors that didn't realize that they weren't supposed to win, they weren't supposed to be good. And Coach Green used to tell us all the time that for every sophomore you start, it equaled a loss. And back then, in the schedule that we played, the teams that we had to go against, it was pretty right on. But that year, unfortunately, we had to start 7 of them, because that's what we had, and those were the kids that were our players. It just so happens that one that we started, our first sophomore quarterback ever, but his name was Scott Brown. And if you know anything about New Jersey football history, Scott Brown was a pretty special kid. And that's where we started. And we actually got off to a good start that year. We were 3-1, played pretty good football. And then we hit a stretch where we didn't play such good football. We played some good teams. And we were sitting 3-4 at the cutoff game. And if you're a high school football coach or know anything about, you're a fan, know anything about high school football, right around the 7th or 8th week of the season, we'll become math teachers, start figuring out PowerPoints, figure out where you could be. And our players didn't know. I think the only 2 coaches that knew, possibly me and Bobby and Danny, that at 3-4, mathematically we had a chance to still be in the state playoffs. Because back then they only took 4 teams too. Now they take 8. They took 4 back then. But mathematically we still figured out we had a chance. We just had to do one thing, and that's beat DePaul, who was 7-0 at the time. And a pretty good football team. They had Division I running back. And, but we figured out the PowerPoints. We figured that if we won, then we would get in at 4-4, which was unheard of also. So we practiced all week, really didn't know, but we went out over there, home game, and we beat DePaul 21-0. It wasn't even a really good game. And that night, we were on the phone, and Bobby got the phone. We actually made the playoffs, which was the good news. The bad news is we had to play New Providence, who was 10-0. And Frank Patone in New Providence, the whole deal. And again, we didn't think how much of a chance, but it was great for the kids. We were excited to go over to New Providence, and all of a sudden it's a football game. Somewhere in the middle of the game, the scoreboard goes out. So there's no scoreboard. And the clock's being kept on the field. This is where it gets things almost don't happen. You know, that commercial now with the, everything's an inch this way, a foot that way, it doesn't happen. But long story short is, we score late in the game. We're up 17-15. We kick off. They return the kick down somewhere around the 10-yard line. And nobody really knows how much time's on the clock. It was late in the game. And Coach Patone probably had the best field goal kicker in the state of New Jersey. So we figured he was going to run the field goal team on and end the game. We lose 18-17. And, you know, they took a shot to try to score. Stopped them. Went again. Stopped them again. He ran the field goal team on the field. They line up the kick. They kick the ball. Place goes crazy. They win. I'll never forget, Bobby says to me, did we just lose? I'm looking down the field, and Mike Myers, who's one of our coaches, is standing next to one of the officials, and he's jumping up and down. So I said to Bobby, I said, I don't know if we did. And we're looking at it, and the Providence guys are going crazy in the middle field because they think they won 18-17. And they didn't win 18-17 because the clock ran out. But we won 17-15 because the scoreboard was broken and the clock ran out. And that's how things go. And the next week, that's what happened. The next week, we had to go over and play a great Madison football team coached by Carolyn's brother, John Davies, who played here at Butler. He was a great player here. And he had done a great job all season. They were very good. And he had beaten us here during the regular season. It's always hard to go beat somebody that beat you. But Scott Brown wasn't a sophomore anymore at that time. And he kind of took things in his own hands. It was a great football game. We ended up winning 16-0, and we won the state championship. And that's that team. And that was that group of seniors. And we didn't know it at the time, but we had two junior linebackers, Mike Sleddy and Matt McGoldrick, who were the first two all-state linebackers in their own right following there. And Scott Brown ended up being a three-time all-state, first team all-state old group quarterback, and historically one of the best quarterbacks in the history of the state of New Jersey. So we did have some talent. But what held that team together, honestly, was we had a group of seniors. And we didn't have a lot of them, but a group of seniors that, even though they weren't supposed to win a state championship, that never gave up. When things were 3-4, or we were going to lose the game on a field goal, or any of that stuff, they never gave up. And, you know, we all have state championship rings from 1995. It doesn't say the record, it just says you're a state champion. And when you look back, you know, it was one of the 4 in a row that we won. And to me, all the years I've been coaching here, it's always going to be the most special year because it almost didn't happen, and it wasn't supposed to happen. It was the most unlikely thing that could have happened. But it was because of the group of seniors that we had. And we did have some individual achievements that year. Paul Mallard, wide receiver, and actually set a school record at the time. For receptions, he had 51 catches that year as a senior. First year he ever started for us too. So he had a great year. And you know, Coach Operator, in the crowd was our defensive coordinator and all those things. And Coach is here today. So he was our defensive coordinator. He played a great defense. Matt Green was our one of our wide receivers. Nice to see him on that team. And I just wanted to mention the seniors. Our captains were Ray Benedetto and Tim Stewart, Ken Hunt, Dave Sonvico, Matt Green, Mike Post, Gary Pumphrey, John Mathis, and Paul Mallard. That was the seniors that year. Incredible year, special state championship, and we'll never forget it here. So thank you very much for your time, and congratulations to the 95 team.
Where's Matt Green? Where's Matt? Matt, could you come up and uncover the 1995
That's the 1990 football sectional champs.